Bash in Berlin is coming up the day before No Mercy on Saturday, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So this will be an earlier show, even earlier than Clash and Money in the Bank. This is a 1 p.m. show, not even 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. But I like the earlier shows. They get them done earlier, and will probably be around 4 hours. This is another one of those shorter cards. Only 5 matches announced. They could announce another match on Friday, which I think is going to be a taped SmackDown in Berlin, not airing live here in the States. I don't think they will, though. I think they're going to keep it to 5 matches. They might announce a pre-show match, but that's kind of rare. We've only had one pre-show match in the last couple of months, and that was back at Clash, I think, or King and Queen of the Ring, I think. But this one has no pre-show match, so it's only 5 matches. Now, before we get into the actual card, Mr. Marceau, I do want to ask you, because there was a lot of discourse about this. Yesterday I gave my 2 cents. The shorter cards, are you in favor of it, or are you not in favor of it? Because a lot of people are complaining that, it's not enough wrestling, and WWE has a lot of commercials, which I say complaining, but that's a pretty valid criticism. For me, I enjoyed the whole less is more approach. The constant commercials and the Peacock ad breaks are annoying, but that's just the nature of their deal with Peacock, I think. On pay-per-view, you shouldn't have to deal with that.
Pay some real money.
Yeah, I mean, it's Peacock's cheap. I'd rather deal with that than, pay $50-$60. All In will probably end up being a better show than Bash in Berlin. Not when you had to pay $50-$60 for. But, if it means having to pay less and just having to deal with a couple commercials, it does hurt the flow of the show, but it doesn't really bother me all that much. I think the less is more approach and giving these matches more time makes more sense than doing 10 matches and they only go 10 minutes each or 5 minutes or whatever. So I'm totally fine with only 5 matches, but what's your take on the shorter cards that we've seen during the Triple H era?
I'm fine with the shorter cards. Just give me more matches that matter. I think that's kind of my biggest takeaway from these international shows. I feel like they're all like chalk. You know who's going to win. They're pretty predictable. I know they kind of save some more stuff for Raw and SmackDown, but all these people paying a decent amount of money for, usually we never get any real big surprise on these shows. I think that would probably be my biggest takeaway is have more matches that mean more on these shows.
You think having a match and the match will be fine, I'm sure, and we'll talk about the match, but Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus Bianca and Jade, that's an example of what you're talking about? That's not really a match that you want to see on pay-per-view?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I could agree with that. We're not having there's not going to be a women's championship defense on this show. I know Nia Jax is defending the WWE Women's Championship against, I must say Liv Morgan against Michin. Liv Morgan's on the pay-per-view. Against Michin in a Berlin street fight, I believe, on SmackDown the night before. And then Liv Morgan obviously is in the mixed tag team match that we're getting. I don't know if we've talked about this, but do you think part of the problem with what you're talking about with these pay-per-views is that they're predictable, but is that because Triple H's booking has been better than Vince's, but part of it's almost formulaic where they save the bigger payoffs for the big 4 pay-per-views? Like SummerSlam is extremely eventful because they saved a lot of shit for that show. But I feel like some of these smaller shows would benefit, and I love the international crowds, but I feel like some of these smaller shows would benefit from having more meaningful moments to make people want to actually tune in and feel like anything can happen, like you said.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I mean. I mean, like you said, I just feel like more bigger things need to happen. Like I said, I think if there's all pretty predictable things happen, and then we just kind of move on. They're good shows, but it's like you said, nothing really crazy has happened at any of these international shows.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, I loved Backlash, but that was the best B show they've done in a while. But all the other ones have been good. I've enjoyed all the other ones, but they are pretty predictable, which is what we're going to go over now with these predictions. It should be pretty simple because a lot of these matches are pretty some of them could go either way, actually, but we'll get into that. So we'll start with the aforementioned Unholy Union versus Bianca and Jade for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. Fire and Dawn won the belts back at Clash in the Triple Threat Tag Team match, not pinning Bianca and Jade. They pinned Shayna or Zoe. They had a rematch on SmackDown right before SummerSlam that ended in a DQ after Blair Davenport got involved. I just can't see Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, who have finally been getting TV time, because for the first month or two of their run, they got fucking no TV time. And all of a sudden, they have TV time, and now they're probably going to lose the belts, which is fine by me. I just can't see Fire or Dawn pinning Bianca or Jade. I mean, they're going to have to lose the belts at some point, do Bianca and Jade, but unless they do another fuck finish or with a DQ or a countout, I just can't see Bianca or Jade getting pinned by either one of these two women. So I think Bianca and Jade are getting the belts back. What do you think?
I think you keep the belts on Dawn and Fire.
Is that to progress the story between Bianca and Jade? Because I would agree with that if so.
Yeah, I think you could like do something that maybe there's just a miscue and Bianca or like Jade accidentally hits Bianca and then that's how they win. I just like you said, they just started getting TV time, so then you gotta take the belts off them, and
Yes.
I just feel like Bianca and Jade don't need them again.
No, they don't.
They don't need the belt again.
No, they definitely don't. I think they're just going to. I'm agreeing with you, but I do think they're going to give the belts back to Bianca and Jade to drag it out more, because I don't know if they want to save the match for Mania, and I hate even saying that out loud because that's 7 months away. They can't wait that long. Yeah. I don't know. So I could see them getting the belts back, and then they could lose them to like Nia and Tiffany, who are kind of a team now. I could see someone like a Nia pinning a Jade or a Bianca. I could totally see that. But yeah, I mean, it's difficult though, because I would rather see them moving a Bianca and Jade on the sooner side, but I feel like they're going to go the long-term storytelling route and wait until like 2026 at this point to do the match.
Yeah, who knows?
I just feel like that's way too long. I'm kind of ready for them to move on from it, but I got new tag team champions here. You think? I know you want them to retain. Do you think they will retain though? Fire and Dawn.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Maybe these matches won't be as predictable as I thought. The Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, taking on the Judgment Day's Dirty Dominic Mysterio and the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan. Nice build for the match. The baby faces have been extremely over so far, which has been nice to see. I think the Terror Twins are losing here to set up the Judgment Day as the winners and to further build towards the heels, maybe getting their comeuppance at Bad Blood, but not here. So do you think Damian and Liv go, or Damian and Rhea go over, or the Judgment Day?
I think the Judgment Day go over.
Do you think they are going to set up the other rematches for Bad Blood, and that's why they might be, keeping them on the hotter side until then?
Yes.
Yeah, I would think so too. I have the Terror Twins losing here, Judgment Day as well. I would agree with that. Punk and McIntyre, strap match. McIntyre won the first one. Who wins the rematch here?
Punk wins.
Okay, to set up a third match in the next pay-per-view?
Yep.
Probably inside Hell in a Cell. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre. I think Drew's going to steal this one.
Wow.
I think Punk winning makes more sense if you want to go 50-50. But I think Punk's ultimately winning the third match. So I feel like they might have Drew beat him again and then to keep Punk chasing him. And Punk needs to win. He's lost. He's only had a couple matches, but he has yet to win since coming back to the company on television. He needs to win, but I think McIntyre wins here again. I don't know how you would do that without making Punk look like a loser, but that's what I think is going to happen. Do you think there's further emphasis in this match on the bracelet? How do you think that's going to play out?
Yeah, I think probably. I mean, like I said, I think Punk's going to win just to set up the last match, but I mean, I hope not. I mean, the last match was more the storytelling one, so I think this one will be more of a full-out fight.
Yeah, I think so as well, and I hope so, because their first match was good, but the emphasis was kind of more on the storytelling. I hope they kind of move away from the bracelet stuff soon and start focusing on the next chapter, which is like the all-out intensity between the two. Gunther Randy Orton World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, I'm reading here on Wikipedia, if Orton wins, he goes to Raw as the champion, which makes sense. But it's also saying that Gunther would go to SmackDown. I don't remember them ever saying that. Maybe that's the case, maybe it's not. I don't know. But that's what it's saying here in Wikipedia. And we all know how trustworthy Wikipedia can be, so I don't know. But I think the match will be good. This is the rematch from King and Queen of the Ring when Gunther won via, not nefarious means, but Orton had his shoulder up and they're going back to the match, which is cool. I don't think there's any doubt Gunther wins here, but people have been trying to tell me maybe Orton gets another win. Maybe he can steal the victory and they swap brands. I don't really see what that accomplishes. I think Gunther walks away still World Heavyweight Champion. What about you?
Yeah, it's Gunther all day. This is just a further on feud, like I said, just a kind of transition, another Gunther win. Randy's not going to Raw. They're not swapping brands. It doesn't make any sense. He just won the belt. He hasn't lost a match in over a year or since WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So it's Gunther all day.
Yeah, I just feel like it would be ass backwards to plant the seed so aggressively for Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes at some point, only to not do that match. I mean, that would be pretty. I mean, I feel like that's the ultimate endgame is Cody and Orton at some point in the next couple of months or around WrestleMania time, not to transfer the two and then to get Gunther. I mean, I guess Gunther and Cody's an option, but I feel like Orton and Cody's the match that everyone wants to see on the sooner side.
Yeah, exactly. I think after Owens, it's going to be Cody and Randy.
Yeah, I think so as well. Or Orton gets involved, and somehow it's a three-way feud or whatever. But speaking of which, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, I think, will be the main event for the Undisputed WWE Championship. Battle of baby faces, but they're heavily teasing that Owens could turn. I don't think he does. I think it's a red herring. I think they want you to think he's going to turn, but it ends up being, Randy Orton instead. How do you think this is going to play out? What are your expectations for this matchup, and who do you see going over?
It'll be a good match with Rhodes all day. I mean, like you said, just like Gunther, I just don't think there's any chance Owens beats him. I don't think he should beat him. I don't think I don't think he even turns heel to beat him. I think it's Cody retains, and then, like you said, I think him and Orton will probably be the next program going on.
You don't think there's any chance that Owens not only wins the championship, but turns heel in the process to take the title from Cody as like a shock win? I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't mind if it did.
I just feel like for Cody now, I mean, like you said, where would you just get the belt right back? I don't know. I don't love the idea. I think, I would just keep the belt on Cody.
If they were to do that, I feel like they're probably going to do that. If with anyone, probably with Randy and not with Kevin.
Mm-hmm. I think the same.
Yeah, I think Orton might be the one to turn heel and get the belt, if only briefly, and then lose it right back to Cody. Last thing on Owens real quick. It came out this week, actually from my buddy Rick Ucchino. He interviewed Kevin Owens a couple days ago, and he found out that Owens' deal is expiring soon. I don't think that has any bearing on this match at all. We kind of figured that because he signed a 3-year deal, I think 3 years ago, but he has yet to re-sign, he said. So this is probably a non-story because I don't think Owens is going anywhere. Do you think there's any chance he leaves to AEW? Because there was 3 years ago, but again, that was when Vince was in charge, and he re-signed then. If he doesn't re-sign now, I would be shocked. What is he going to go join the Elite Angle and take Okada's spot or some shit? Like, if there was any chance that he would leave, it probably would have been then when AEW was super hot. I don't think it happens now.
No, I think he's been booked well enough under Triple H that I doubt he would leave.
Yeah, and I hope he gets another world title run at some point. I think that he belongs at that level, and he's been pushed well in the last 3 years. I don't think it happens on this show. I also just don't see him leaving for AEW. I feel like that's probably not going to happen, but you never know. Stranger things have happened, and people have jumped ship, and a lot of contracts have come due in the last year, and a lot of people have moved, so who knows? That's the exciting state of the wrestling landscape right now.